Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and my friends, we got a doozy for you today because we got a lot more Street Fighter 6 footage, and we have learned a lot about Deejay, Marisa, Manon, and JP, and also the World Tour mode. Going into the Game Awards, we didn't really know if Street Fighter 6 was going to get anything, and instead we got quite a bit. We got a very meaty trailer. So since there is so much stuff to go through here, I'm just going to timestamp everything. I'll deal with every character as a whole rather than the random bits they cut to in the trailer. So skip to whatever makes sense to you. Although if you use the timestamps, you owe me a like. Come on, be a pal. That all said though, let's start at the start here. You see the World Tour stuff. Let's rewind just a little bit here and let's go over what we have now learned about the World Tour mode. So first off, we get this lovely little graphic whenever you switch around various locales. So Metro City first. And we can see here the classic World Tour mode. Okay, here's a creative character, but he did Luke's projectile. He just did a Sonic Boom. He just did a Shoryuken. He's doing Hazanshu. Yes, and Yoga Flame, right? You can do any given move you learn from your masters in the World Tour mode. And we didn't know before if you can mix and match, but now we know for sure. And also, I have this screenshot for you. So here we can see plain as day special moves, and you can just slot in whatever you like for your created character in World Tour mode. And it looks like we have a total of 8 slots. So 4 are used right here, and I guess the rest you unlock over the course of the game. It looks like the only potential limitation is moves that have overlapping inputs. Like if you have Luke Sandblast and you have Hadouken, they're both quarter circle forward punch, right? So I don't think you could have both at the same time. But here we have Sandblast, Sonic Boom, Shoryuken, and Hazanshu. So you can just definitely play whatever kind of character you want to play. Mix and match all the moves to your heart's content. Also, as we know, many of the fights are kind of like arcadey. You can fight multiple people at the same time, right? And during these fights, it looks like you get to call in whoever your mentor is. So here we're yourself and Ryu kicking butt together, and that's pretty cool, actually. It's the Street Fighter Final Fight game I never got as a kid. Here we can see the created character teaming up with Kimberly, also just beating up random people who are the Mad Gear gang, I'm assuming. And minigames. So I think that might be Retsu, but this minigame, if you're not a little bit older, you might not recognize this for what it is, but it's actually a nice little reference to a non-Capcom fighter. This is one of the minigames from SNK's The Art of Fighting. That's Ryo Sakazaki doing that right there. So very reminiscent, and of course, you know, Capcom and SNK have a very great relationship over the years, so it's not necessarily ripping it off, but obviously it's quite similar, right? Here we have like a cooking mama mini game. You're making food while doing Street Fighter motions, and I actually quite like this a lot, because if you're one of the people who buy the game, but you're not necessarily no more core fighting game community, right? You don't know how to do a lot of the motions, this will trick you into learning how to do a fireball. So you're having fun in your minigame in your single player mode, and whoops, now you know how to play Ryu. I am a very big fan of this. More minigames. We have board breaking, and it looks like we're on a time limit here, so you have to break all the boards in a various time limit. And on top of board breaking, yo, parrying basketballs is back. So you're doing the minigames, and we're learning how to perfect parry here. And basically, it's tricking you into learning how the game works properly. I'm just a really big fan of this overall. I am more and more and more impressed by World Tour mode every time I see it. Now, we go next into this little blurb of just showing off some of the characters. And before we get directly into the characters, there's actually a fairly important story bit. So I'm just going to let this play out as it stands. This is from JP.
He was obsessed, you see, with finding an appropriate vessel for this power.
So that's JP, who from behind looks suspiciously like Q just a little bit. And he's talking about finding vessels for his power. He's absolutely talking about Bison, as that's kind of always been his deal over the years, right? And we know as of at least the moment, future DLC could definitely change things, Bison is currently all the way dead. But JP is definitely linked in a way, because we already knew, but now we have definite confirmation with the gameplay. He is also a psycho power user, and him being older, he could be the originator or the guy who taught Bison what he knows. It's only a little bit to be sure, but this is the first actual story detail we've really gotten out of Street Fighter 6, so it is pretty interesting. Also, JP has some pretty good fashion sense. I'm just going to say that straight up. So now on to the character specifics, and we are starting with Marisa because of course we are. You know what this channel's all about, right? It's all about the big characters, and Marisa is friggin' gigantic. I love it. So before we fully fanboy out here on all the details, just to note there is some story details for everyone now, and Marisa is Italian, but she has Greek ancestry and has claims to lineage of ancient Greek warriors, and specifically I think they're going for like the whole 300 vibe, because she definitely has the whole "this is Sparta" kick going on, right? And Marisa is 6'8". Like, look at this, she's like a god, she's just fucking jacked. Also, going back to the whole Greek thing, I'm pretty sure this is meant to be a stand-in for the Nemean lion, which was one of the 12 labors of Hercules. He had to defeat the Nemean lion. Marisa, being a lot stronger than Hercules, manhandles the lion with ease. Seeing her in-game model, yo, she's really big. And yes, she does have her helmet hair, just like the Macedonian helmet there. She takes it off and her hair's still sort of in that shape. So here we see one of her moves here. This is the Gladius. So this is a big old punch with a big old follow-up. So one of the things we've learned, thanks to PlayStation Blog, is this move is holdable. And in fact, at the very beginning of the move, we can see that. Sort of like charging her fist. And we know, thanks to the audio leaks, she is the super armor character. So perhaps if you hold the move, it'll gain super armor. She is almost certainly a pancration user. So that is basically the original martial art of all martial arts, which is just being savage and beating people up, basically. Pretty much the exact opposite of Manon. Manon is very graceful, as we'll go over later in this video here. But Marisa is shortened to the point she just beats your friggin' head in. To that point, look at this move. Oh my god, she just like cranks her in the back of the head, man. Look at this. Like, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. So we do have a name for this. This is the Scutum. And this is basically a parry. So what she's doing at the very beginning is she has upper body armor, specifically upper body. This is per PlayStation Blog. And if you hit her during the upper body armor, well, then she's going to beat the back of your head into dust. The general rule when fighting super armor characters is don't challenge the super armor while it's active, right? Because you're gonna lose. And boy, howdy, do you lose big time against Marisa. Also, going back to the fact that she's a pancration user, yo, this exact hold you're seeing right here, this is a pancration hold very famous in many statues. All I can say is I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. I love how savage she is and how everything looks. So next up, more just big swings here. And you might notice Manon is doing her drive impact, right? And it gets beat just straight up clean, so breaks the armor. So this probably means this might be the level 1 super, because supers just break armor in Street Fighter 6. And there's no other armor break mechanic that we yet as of know of, right? So this is likely to be her level 1 super, especially with the fact it has the really cool camera shift when she just slams your face in. And here we see some combo potential. So she's just kind of flinging you across the screen savagely. So basic hit confirm into a ground bounce. The slam down reminds me of like Doomsday from Injustice. Into the big "this is Sparta" kick, which wall splats into another big kick. So she's certainly going to be able to just savagely send you flying across the screen. And here we get a taste of her level 3 super. So the big cinematic, and just like everything else, just there's no mercy. There's no game plan, just nothing but pure savagery, right? Just big uppercut and just crushing your head into the wall. No fluff, no wasted motion, just pure destruction. What a great character. What a great character. Now, the last thing I want to say, and this is super nitpicky, right? But Marisa has a little bit of an identity crisis between, do I want to be Roman or do I want to be Greek? Like on the right there, we can see hoplites, right? Like Greek hoplites. But on the left, we can see Roman gladiators. I know it looks similar, but there is a difference. Like the dudes on the left are like Murmillos, right? Which are a type of Roman gladiator. And obviously the Colosseum, as you can see here, that is a Roman thing, not a Greek thing. I guess Marisa, when it comes to that kind of stuff, her ancient world combat, she gets to have her cake and eat it too. Now, going to a returning character, we have Deejay, and Deejay just looks great, man. Deejay is not the character anyone would have picked, honestly, to be in Street Fighter 6, but I'm glad they did now that I see him in action. He looks really fun, festive, and colorful, and he keeps a lot of his classic stuff, with some new hitches, as we'll go into here in a moment. So, most importantly, the medallion says maximum. Like, you need that. That has to be there. And yes, classic moves like the slide return. Traditionally, the slide's been one of the best aspects of the character, so it coming back is definitely a good thing. They're really putting the machine gun in machine gun upper because he's just freaking going to town on people. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Now, here's a big one. So, Air Slasher, his fireball, right? His sonic boom, as you will. So he's doing the double shot, and like, okay, like in Street Fighter 4, the EX version does a double shot as well, but there's no EX. Like, he ain't glowing or nothing. He's doing double shot by itself. So something is up here. In Street Fighter, you do not normally get 2 fireballs unless you're paying some kind of price here. So something has changed about the move. It has to have, right? So I'm assuming maybe it doesn't go full screen now. The first shot seems to dissipate a little bit at the very end, although it could just be the camera angle. But him shooting 2 shots, no EX, is very different and potentially very powerful. Now, this guy here is a new move. It's called Just Cool. EX version, obviously. It basically is an attack that leads into a sway, and from the sway, you can do different options according to PlayStation blog. So the EX version launches here, and from this launcher, we get a bit of a juggle, and we go into his slash kicks, the classic. Now, this guy's just crazy here. So this might be a super or something, like a level 2. There's just all sorts of music popping and bopping off here. Now, the original audio leaks did mention he might have like some sort of like rhythm-based mechanic, and this might be exactly it. So these music notes might be timed to your button presses, and if so, that's actually really, really cool. Now we see a cinematic for his level 3, and it's basically his Ultra 2 from Street Fighter 4, just big machine gun punches, and he's a cool dude. Now this next little bit here is from the pre-order costume trailer, and there's actually something gigantic here. Deejay does a motion for his fireball, and then it doesn't happen. So he has like a fake fireball or a fireball cancel, which immediately makes him maybe the scariest zoner in this game. So the very beginning happens, and then, well, nothing happens, right? So this is going to trick all sorts of people into just making straight up bad plays. Bad jump-ins, bad supers, bad anything just to catch the fireball. That's not happening. So the only thing is it its own unique motion, the fake fireball? Or is it like you do your fireball, then like hit punch to cancel it or something like that, right? The fake out also has a little bit of a particle effect at the very beginning at the top of his fist. But, well, who knows? But having a fake fireball is a very, very powerful trait in Street Fighter for sure. Now, Manon. So we have our big power lady, and Manon is our graceful lady. So she is a fusion of ballet and judo, and it definitely plays off, man. Looking at this footage here, definitely makes it work for sure. So she is a fashion model, and just so you know, her mechanic is officially confirmed now. The medal system, which you power up, the more medals she has, the better her grabs get. So first off here, just the look. I kind of wish this was the default outfit. So this must be like her pre-fight intro, because she's all stylish, and the dancers go by, and then boom, she's in her gi. And I'm sure looks gonna get her a lot of fans regardless, because it's kind of, I guess, skin tight is the word. So out of the gate, we can see the ballerina stuff. Like here's just a big kick, could be like stand heavy kick, and then we have a little graceful spin at the end of it. Same deal here, big spins, big kicks. And here, while technically, I guess you could say partially ballerina, right? Because it is like a kind of a ballerina kind of jumping kick. But to me, this is the French kick, because this is some Jean-Claude Van Damme ass split spin kicks to me. Now here we see, I'm assuming, the first of her command grabs, and very graceful just like the rest, right? So keep in mind, she is a grappler, right? Her whole mechanic is powering up her grabs. So she kind of spins you up in the air, which Marisa's really big, so she must be pretty strong, and then kind of gracefully lets you down. Maybe the more she levels up, the less and less gracefully she lets you down and just kind of slams you harder and harder. Here we get a ballerina twinkle toes kick into an EX hit grab. So it definitely is a strike, but it leads into a grab animation. A big old spin followed by just dunking you on your head. And we get a glimpse here of her level 3 cinematic super, where it's basically just a bunch of poses as she's quite flashy, and then once again dunking you on your head. And we do have this little gameplay snippet from the pre-order trailer. So we see, like, I'm assuming jump medium kick into maybe close heavy, and then we drive cancel into more strikes, and then we have another hit grab. So Manon is definitely very heavy on the hit grabs. And the wind pose here, I just like it because she has the French flag painted on her fingernails. I think that's just a really cool thing. And our final character, JP, and yes, he is our resident psycho power user, if you can't tell. All that purpley pink stuff, that means some bad times are ahead for the rest of our cast, as if anyone's going to be the boss of the game, JP is almost certainly the boss of this game. Now first off, he might be prim and proper, but he has forearms like a friggin' gorilla. JP is not skipping the gym. On the prim and proper note though, he has very good form, like when he's hitting you with his cane here. He has his arm like properly behind his back, like it's a very well-practiced maneuver. I like that just little detail of his character. Not only does he have to beat you up, right? He has to do it with the correct style. He can also use his cane to channel his psycho power. And also, the psycho power like opens a rift and thorns come outside. So he might have a level of mastery of psycho power even beyond M. Bison. To that point, here we see more psycho power use, and he can create like constructs. Like it has like hands grabbing the enemy from his psycho power. So it may be, considering he's an older gentleman, right? He is the original psycho power user. Like he could be the progenitor of the style, right? It definitely looks like he knows a thing or two about how to use it, right? Like the way he uses it is very different from Bison. We have this whole sequence here too. This is great. So this is an EX where he creates kind of like reality cracks, summons another psycho power construct, and then teleports from those cracks in reality and then combos out on you, right? So very stylish. It's really going to be very tricky if he can like teleport on you on top of your head, right? He started in the air, so almost certainly he can do a jumping attack while falling down on you, right? So like potential left-right shenanigans because there's a crack in reality on each side, and you might have to guess, is he going to teleport left or is he going to teleport right? And finally here, a look at his level 3 cinematic super. So just overflowing with psycho power, grabs Ken, and then just like overcharges him with psycho energy, and then, well, big old explosion, right? Given everything we're seeing now, if JP is not the boss of Street Fighter 6, I would be legitimately shocked because he kind of fits every possible bill for that. Cool yet nasty, powerful yet stylish. And that is the breakdown. So we learned a lot. Like that is fantastic. The only downside now is we gotta wait a good whiles. Because if you're not aware, the release date is June the 2nd. I am very glad they're taking their time. I am very glad they're going to put out the best possible product they can put out. But man, I'm a gamer. Like, we're impatient. We're big babies. Like, let's admit it, right? Let's just call it for what it is. We're all big babies and we want our thing now. And we don't want to wait. But we got to wait. So that's the way the cookie crumbles on that one. So no Cammy or Zangief yet, which is very odd. We've seen all these new characters, but not 2 classic characters. And Zangief's one of the original 8 too. But for whatever reason, they're not showcasing them just yet. And of course, no Lily. So Lily is the last all-new character to not be shown off. But given we just saw so much, if you added that overwhelming T-Hawk power to it, well, that would just be too much for most people to handle. So Lily, there'll be a time and a place in the future when the world is ready. But yeah, so looking forward to Street Fighter 6 for sure. Can't wait. And boy, howdy do we gotta wait. So until that time though, whenever you need your Street Fighter 6 news, I'll do my best on this channel to cover everything Street Fighter. And until then, well, my friends, we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.